And we're live. Second take, week 7, baby. Shout out, first of all, to Big Mike and Danny Yarconi handling business for me last week. Well, really for us, for the league. I appreciate it. They did a hell of a job for week 6. A lot of slander on my name. I didn't appreciate it. Hopefully, I can give it back a little bit here. Um, but let's get into it. It's a solo cast. Mike's got a lot going on with school right now, work. And it was hard to really get a hold of one of you guys. So I get it. It's week 7. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and it is kind of short notice. But let's get on with it. Week 7. There was a real shakeup in the power rankings, myself included, falling many points down in these power rankings. You hate to see it, but it means somebody's doing well. It's good for the other guys. Xavier's new team name. I love it. XXX Must gifting wins. I appreciate it, man. You know what? I will say something about Xavier. Well, first of all, shout out to my drink before I start. Yeah, what a great wedding gift. And then we're on the gumball hit today, boys. Shout out. One thing the Indiana Hoosiers are good for. Xavier, we bring you up all the time. I mean, 0-6. This has never happened. He's been in the league a few years now. True competitor. He's not going to give up. I'm not worried about it. He's going to play spoiler all the way till the end. There is a world where you go 6-6 and you may get in there. So drinks for you, buddy. Don't let the hope die. And at this point, since it's week 7, we are over the halfway mark, boys. It is a 12-week season. I know some of you guys are still getting used to the wild card format. Week 13 is not an extra week for everybody. That is the wild card week, meaning the bottom. What is it? 6 guys get in. I don't want to mistake myself here. I believe 6 guys get the first round bye, and then the other 4 play in the wild card, and then the bottom 4, obviously, yes, this sounds absolutely correct. They're just out. That's it. You're done after, and it's kind of early. It's unfortunate. Like week 12, that's it. You're done with fantasy. So hopefully you guys, I know a lot of you are in some other leagues that aren't doing so well. And then there's always sports gambling, which we know this league is a big, big fan of. So it never ends, man. You got DFS. I hate to talk like this because it's so early. It's week 7. Still early. You still have a shot. But there are 5 weeks left of the regular season. There was a trade last week. Mike sent T.Y. Hilton and Darrell Henderson of the L.A. Rams for Chris's Le'Veon Bell, who has a new home in Kansas City. Shout him out. That's amazing. This trade happened before the move. I actually was going to reach out to both these GMs and say, what do you guys want to do here? Because when something like this happens, it's a little sketch, and it's kind of like, do you still want to make this trade? But, Piani, true competitor, he understands that any player can move at any time. You look at the Antonio Brown ad from the beginning of the year. He understands he's playing the long game, and he's a veteran, and that's what they do. So I know he's ecstatic about this move for Kansas City. And I'm sure Mike isn't hurting too bad because Darrell Henderson looks like the lead back there in L.A. Rams. And T.Y. It's going to happen at some point. I mean, he loves Phillip Rivers. He's a Hall of Famer to Mike. not me, but it's going to work out. I think his trade helps both teams, and I foresee it being beneficial to them in the future. But we're shooting through this stuff. It's going to be a short one probably, guys. Let's be real. My drink breaks. The awkward pause. Probably hear me gulping, kind of weird. But we'll shoot through this, and hopefully it's short and sweet, and you guys love it, and I hit the points that we're supposed to talk about, but let's do it. The power rankings, baby. No, it's not Ryan Downs here at 1. And it's not Ryan Hannigan either. Disrespecting the Ryan, that's what we do here at Second Take. Number 1 is the guy who beat me this year, and also beat Jesse. That's Devin at 1. Devin, you got to remember harken back to that trade with Xavier, really set him up, Miles Sanders, and he gives away Chubb, and Chubb goes down. There's all stuff that looks good right now, but who's to say in the future? But nevertheless, I love his team. Patrick Mahomes, pedestrian 19 last week, but it was enough to beat Jesse. I think Devin's going to be here, top 4, boys. I foresee it. We've been talking about it, been preaching it. This guy is here to win it. Hasn't had a championship berth since 2013. I think he's got a real shot this year. And who else deserves one than Devin. And I don't want to jinx you. Knock on wood. Just keep doing what you're doing, buddy. I love it. And shout out to his podcast, the Jumbo podcast. They do great stuff over there, man. Recapping sports and especially Chicago sports. I love it. I love it. But let's move forward. Our most improved GM from 2019, Ryan Hannigan. I doubted him. I doubted him the whole way. I still it's the fate's not there, man. I'm just not with you. You did, however, beat me handedly. By the way, though I didn't have Kamara, I kind of shouted him out because he started both Detroit running backs, Adrian Peterson and DeAndre Swift, and boy, did DeAndre Swift get off. I mean, if you get a combined points of 30 out of two running backs on the same team, that's got to feel real good. I mean, we're talking like Carolina Panthers back in the day, D'Angelo Williams, and I'm blanking on the big boy, Jonathan Stewart. There we go. We're here. Something like that. But I fear that this is not a strategy, Hannigan. He just took advantage of the matchup, and he knew that was a horrendous defense against the run, and he went with it. So, Hannigan at 2, shout out to you, man. I'll drink. I owe you at least 5 drinks for hating on you. 5-1 looks real good, man. Moving forward at 4-2 on the year. Has a lot more points than the guy next to him here. So this is why you get the bump to 3, Ryan Downs. Ryan Downs is sick of the slander. I'll say it here. He's preached it loud and clear on the GroupMe. Ryan Downs, we've always held you to a higher pedigree. When you come in to draft or to even have your fantasy year, we expect big things out of you every year. So to see it here, it's not surprising. I think this was your best draft of all time. And that says a lot because you've been here a few years. So I like Ryan Downs' team. I think he has the starters to push him for a decent playoff berth, and I think he's going to get that bye in that week 13 bye that we all want and wish for, absolutely. But moving forward here at 4, taking an L to Devin, costly L. For me, anyways. I needed him. I need you to beat him, Jesse. I need you to beat that guy for my division aspirations. I'm trying to win that $100. I want to win the Mamba 24 division. What are you doing? And the reason why he failed was the Zeke outing. The Zeke, I think it was 10 points. You hate to see it. A superstar running back, a first round pick, putting up less than 10 with no injury. That bodes. That's question marks. But I know that game script was terrible. But at the end of the day, I mean, Zeke is a PPR stud if you can get him the ball. I just think that guy's a true athlete, and Dallas is paying him to be that guy. I was confused. I mean, they got blown out pretty bad, but it's still you got to get that guy the ball. If James White's over here negative game script putting up 15 points or whatever, there's no reason why this guy can't do it. But Jesse, like the rest of these guys, will be here in the top 4, top 5. The rest of the year, and I expect big things for him as I do for Ryan Downs. I mean, these guys, they come in here, they have a pedigree. Jesse's a 2-time champion in the NBA league, and that's tough to do back to back when he did it. Shout him out at 4. Moving to 5. A couple weeks ago, he proclaimed this, and he told the future, and we need to put some respect on his name, and that's Nathaniel Schwartz. Yes, he lost to Joe, the champ, but he redeemed himself here moving forward. Getting some wins. He's the best 3-3 team on the season, statistically wise, points wise. And he's got to feel real good being here at 5. I mean, we we go back to his draft and how bad it was, but this guy's doing it without his players. I mean, he preached about it in that episode. I mean, look at Mike. Losing McCaffrey, it doesn't miss a beat with Mike. I mean, this guy is balling out there, putting up huge points. I may be interested in sending Nate a trade, to be honest. Looking at his team, maybe we make this Mike Evans thing happen. I know it's destiny. I know it's a championship aspiration you have this year. Why not do it with your guy Mike Evans on your team? We'll see. Down 3 spots from last week's power rankings. Which shout out to Danny and Mike again for hyping me up. I appreciate it. You didn't have to talk about my team, but you did put me higher, and that's good enough for me. But I fell 3 spots, taking a big L to Ryan Hannigan. I'm at 6. Lamar on a bye this week, a little scary. I don't want to spoil it, but really upset about a certain quarterback that was picked up in the waiver wired segment. It just makes no sense. You're not even playing anybody who's quarterback this week. I'll get into it there. But at the moment, I'm projected not to win my matchup against Dave this week. To lose 3 straight would be not good. Simple as that, man. I would be. It's not panic. It's never panic, right? I mean, 0-6 is panic, right, Xavier? But I think my team statistically has what it takes. I am missing A.J. Brown. You see this guy go off the past 2 weeks, and then look at Rojo. I think I might lose this trade with me and Dave. And we'll get obviously in that in our matchup this week. We'll get in that a little bit later. But I don't know. I don't feel too confident this week. Alvin Kamara coming back. I'm gonna need a big game out of him. But I'm hearing, shout out Danny. I think Mike Thomas is gonna come back and play. So what does that do to Xavier's Xavier? What does that do to Alvin's volume? What am I supposed to do with that? We'll see. But I like my squad as a whole. I think it's above average. Not the best team in the league, but by far not the worst. So I expect to be here, and I'm shooting for that first round bye, no doubt. Like all of us. Week 13. Let me get that week off. Moving on though, at 7, my opponent this week, Big Daddy Dave. Shout out to Dave, recent father. He's got a beautiful daughter. Dave's season has been a little bit of a shaky roller coaster. He's also 3-3. The trade, like I said, in retrospect, it's looking like it's going to work out. I mean, yes, we haven't really seen Leonard Fournette since the injury, but Ronald Jones has a firm grip on that role for the RB1, and it was, I believe his issue was pass catching and pass blocking, which I think he's cleaned up clearly. I mean, Tampa Bay looks pretty strong. I think Dave's going to be just fine. And I think top 8 is something he can definitely achieve. And there's probably another trade left to do for Dave. I mean, this guy's relentless. But there's that. Let's move forward. At 8, we have the champ, who took an L last week. Excuse me. What am I talking about, Joe? That was a good victory last week. I clearly I can't read. Been drinking. Joe, champion as always. Our 2019 champion. We got to highlight you. We got to make you sound really good. I mean, you're not really falling to the hangover like we expected. Like your first championship. And the receivers are getting healthy, right? Devontae Adams. He's gonna come back. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna get these guys. Chris Godwin had a big game, right? I mean, Mike Evans on my team put up like 2 points. Chris Godwin said, "I'm gonna get mine," and went off. So you got to feel really good about that. I'm excited for Joe at the opportunity. I mean, all right, I'm lying, Joe. We don't want to see a repeat. Nobody wants to see that. To be honest, we all hope you just. I wish you were 0-6, man. I'm sorry. Misery loves company. We all hate to see it. Yeah, you're the champ. I gotta give it to you. You're wearing the belt. I'm sure you have it on when you're watching these videos, feeling real good about yourself. Your fat ring on your finger. Kudos to you, Joe. And I think you're having a decent season at this time. And I do expect you to make the playoffs. There's no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. Let's move on to the villain. The menace, Chris Piani. Tried to feature Chris Piani in this video today. Unfortunately, not available. Like I said in the intro. But let's reflect on Chris Piani here. Derrick Henry is showing. He ripped up last week, man. That was insane. I had even put a little GIF out on the group because I was like, this guy is going off. That was before you hit the 200 mark. 200, bro, rushing. Piani, you're screaming. You're excited. You put up 160-something points last week. You're like, this is what I'm talking about. And I don't know if you heard, Golden Tate was dropped. Little inside joke there. Piani, I absolutely making the playoffs. I think we know, we kind of have who the bottom 4 is. And of course, it's fantasy. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. But I feel that Piani is a veteran. He's stocking up. He's doing the right things. He's got the waivers down. I think he's handling it. I don't know if he's ever done fab before. I'm sure he has with his fantasy prowess. But I like what he's doing. I think the rust is coming off a little bit here. It's week 7. We're gonna start to see him take form and finish strong, like I predicted in the first in his from his fantasy draft. I predict a playoff berth out of Piani, and he's a real competitor. So, shout out to him, villain. Welcome back. Happy to have you, man. League wasn't right without you. At 10, who filled in valiantly for me last week, Danny Arconi. I shouted out earlier, Michael Thomas. You've been waiting. 3-3 on the season, right? I believe so. Pretty good without Mike Thomas. I'll have you know, Danny, like you, in my Yahoo League, I took Mike Thomas in the first round. And I've been without him, and I'm 5-1 in that league, baby. So, it's possible to do it without him. It's not impossible. I think Danny's biggest weakness is running back, clearly. Maybe you got to move one of these receivers, OBJ, whoever. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to move probably one of these guys, get a running back if you want the depth. Because unfortunately, we have 2 running back slots that you have to fill, and you just don't have somebody to throw in there. It sucks. I feel your pain. And then you got the next guy up here. We'll move on. Mikey sniping these legitimate RB1 running backs with the free agency, making us all look bad for no money. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Jeff Wilson, I know it's a 1 week thing, but it's like if you can get that production out of somebody for a week, that's worth the $0. It's worth it. Shout out Mikey. He has the waiver wire crown. You know what? I think let's trademark that now. Next year, I'll find something. Whatever. We're gonna get a waiver wire crown, and I'm gonna write this down because I've been drinking, and I want to remember this because I want him to wear it. Because unless somebody can do better, but I mean James Robinson is a hell of a stud to pick up and do. I think last year maybe we can give it to Hannigan for the DJ Chark pickup, but I think at this moment, at this time, leading the pack is Mikey on these waiver wires. The amount he's spending, the production he's getting out of his pickups, I think he's the waiver wire king. And let's get that rolling, Mikey. Let's get that trademark, put a crown on you. Because you know what else? You're drinking Crown. We're drinking Crown. Why not wear a crown? Let's double up. At 12, my co-host, my guy, Michael DeJesus. That was a dramatic pause there for you, Mike. It's looking bleak, buddy. The COVID's hit you hard, hit the New England Patriots hard. Cam does not look the same. You're panicking right now. I think at the same time last year, we had the same situation, if I'm not mistaken. I think it might have been worse. Less wins by that is what I mean. I'm a little concerned. Julian Edelman, not looking good. I mean, if Cam doesn't look good, I don't think the team looks good. We know that. I mean, New England is not even first in their division, and that's like a first. Not to say that Tom, they miss Tom. I'm sure they do. But, I mean, we know what Cam's capable of. And I think he's just, had a couple weeks off. He's got to come back, get back in the swing of things. And hopefully he can turn it around for you towards the end of the year. I don't know, man. It's tough. Fantasy's not easy. And I know this isn't Mike's only league. So I'm kind of curious to see where he's at in the other league. Probably connect with him directly over that and see where he's at. But I know Mike is a little busy right now, and it sucks not to have him here, but we'll get him back. We'll get him back next week for Week 8. Let's move forward, though. Bottoming us out at 13, which I predicted from the get-go, Danger Matt. Danger Matt is a champion, first and foremost, and there will be no slander on his name, but drafting remotely is hard. It's not easy. Jordan Howard in the 4th. You hate to see it. You know what I mean? He's waiver wire fodder. It sucks. I think Matt is gonna have to make some moves, do a little bit of magic. I'm never gonna count anybody out unless your name's Xavier and you're 0-7. I'm sorry, man. But Danger Matt, I think we got to make some moves quick. You do have really good running backs: Chris Carson, Jonathan Taylor. I'm blanking on the third guy. But we do have, there is a path here for Matt to get back on track and start to gather some wins. I just think he's got to make a move, whether it's in free agency, waiver wire, something, man. It's possible, and it's feasible. Um, but I love you, and I hate to see you doing bad, man, because I know what type of, you're a champion. I know what this guy's capable of. Veteran for OG, and I would never. I don't care what it takes, man. You're gonna be in the league till it ends, which will probably be when we die. But let's round it out at 0-6, baby. Xavier. Xavier's. This is killing your aggregate. You know what I mean? Because like every year you're like what what? So there's well the years you've been. I'm trying to be mathematically correct, which is just stupid. I imagine he's probably like 20 and like 8, 20 and 10. Well, he's like what maybe this is your third year, Xavier. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like you're way above 500. You know what I mean? That's what I'm basically trying to say here. And this is hurting you really bad. But it's fantasy. It's gonna happen. Guys are gonna get hurt. Guys are gonna underperform, and you're gonna take some L's. I took an L. I missed the playoffs one year. 1 out of 9. It sucks. It's gonna happen to the best of us. But I respect his commitment and dedication to the league. He's out there making waiver wire pickups. He's out there making moves. He's out there really setting up lineups, trying to win every week because he understands what's it cost here, and that's potentially a t-shirt. And you don't want that least points scored t-shirt. And at this moment, I believe you are the current holder from week 2. So Mike got real close. But his boy, Christian Kirk, came through with, I think, a 20 piece. But that will round it out here for the power rankings. These are subject to change, as always. But last week's results, let's get into it. We'll start off with Danny, who had a modest 3 out of 7 last week. He got 3 out of 7 right. Shout him out. Mike, horrible week for him, 2 out of 7. He's falling behind in this race. And I got 5 out of 7 right. I think I know the league by this point, and I have a good feel for it. I'll be honest with you guys, you just don't respect yourself if you don't vote for yourself. But I knew I wasn't going to win last week. Of course, all of us in our hearts think we're going to win. I had a glimmer. I had like a hope. I was like, well, if this happens right, we'll win. But it didn't happen, and I took that big L to Ryan Hannigan. So I got 5 out of 7. Mike got 2 out of 7. Danny got 3 out of 7. Mike is 20 for 42 on the season, and I'm 27 for 42. That's not too great, boys. We can do better. So I'm gonna try to get these right. We'll see how it goes. We'll get Mike's stuff in. Clearly, it won't be on video, but I'll have him posted on the Word doc we use. But yeah, I'll go over it again. Devin won over Jesse. Joe got his victory. I lost to Hannigan. Piani got his victory. Dave beat Nate. And Mikey whooped on Xavier. And Matt actually beat Mike. You got to love it. You got to love it. And I, of course, rolled with Joe, Piani, Dave, Mikey, and Matt last week. Those are my choices. I even sent the proof in. I was like, I'm not cheating. I want full disclosure here that I'm not trying to get a fast one here. I want these to be legit. Not that there's meaning behind them. Mike has currently beat me 2 years in a row, and we have not came to, I think we're just pour water on me or something. We can do it in the winter, whatever. I'll blow my nose, Mike. But I owe you 2 right now. So maybe we split the difference here. I get 1. I'm up. I'm already claiming I'm going to win. I'm up 7, right? I'm up 7. So if for some reason I win, maybe cancel one of those out, and you can do whatever you want, man. We'll figure it out. But let's move forward off last week. We're talking now Waiver Wired, the Waiver Wired segment where guys make bids and they get made fun of. And we'll start with the big one here: $20 by our champ on Joe Thomas for the Washington football team. Joe, tight end is not that it's desolate, but like $20. I don't think it. Somebody please let me know about Lance Thomas if something was bid there. Lance Thomas, I believe, was formerly a Jacksonville Jaguar, and I don't know where he went before that. I just think $20 is a lot of money. And then, secondly, you spend $11 on the Cleveland Browns defense, which is kind of costly. They must have a favorable matchup this week. If you guys remember, Joe sniped me a couple weeks ago on the Colts defense, which has been a stellar defense since last week. But shout out to the champ, making some big ads, spending some money. Let's keep that train rolling with the money and flip over to Mikey, who added Royce Freeman for $12. Royce Freeman is filling in for Melvin Gordon, who got a DUI, which we found out last week. Mike, why is somebody not driving that guy around? Who is his entourage, and why weren't they there? And he said he was drunk off wine. I laughed at when you said that. I had no idea. How many? I mean, we've all gotten drunk off something, but I'm like, how many glasses of wine, bro? Like, what are you doing? $12 anyways. Back to Mikey. $12 ad. That's probably for a couple weeks, I assume. One maybe, and then Frank Gore for $0. I mean, that's a steal. I picked up Michael P. Ryan last week. He put up, I think, a modest 4.5. Better than Ty Johnson, I'll say that. Better than Ty Johnson. Let's move forward, though. I added for $13 Boston Scott. And you know who else bid $13 to put on the group me? Devin. And shout out them waivers. They still factor in. They still matter. I won out that bid, and now I'm rolling high with Boston Scott this week. I think I'm going to start him. He's got a favorable matchup against some New York Giants. I think he's going to get a lot of work. Devin, secondly, added Anthony Fisker, who is filling in for Jonnu Smith for $13. Tennessee tight end. Good ad by Devin. Let's keep it rolling here. Matt had two $10 ads for Travis Fulham, which plays for the Giants. Yes, the Giants, New York Football Giants. Matt's over in that area, so I'm sure he's getting a lot of word about it. And he picked up Keelan Cole for $10. So shout out to Matt being active on the waivers. I appreciate it. This one I kind of hinted at in the beginning here when we talked about me. Ryan Hannigan. The Waiver Wired segment, the Fab Dollars, is named after you for a reason. And this is apparent right here. This is the reason why. $11 on Carson Wentz. You're never going to start him. Your quarterback situation is fine. Why are we putting $11 on Carson Wentz? I don't understand. I mean, maybe he can speak on it in the group meeting. I kind of feel like getting personal with this and just posting in the group meeting like, why? Why do you want to do it? I wanted to save it for second take, of course. But yes, your opponent doesn't need a quarterback this week. If that was a reason, I was looking for the reason. I couldn't find it because he had one good game. You know what I mean? Yes, I need a quarterback. Lamar is on a bye. I put a $2 bid in. Like, this guy bid $11. I'm like, this guy is never going to play for this dude. Like, get out of here. I was just shocked by it, and that's why we name it the Ryan Hannigan Fab Award every year. Moving forward, Chris Piani picked up Chris Boswell, $2. That is the Pittsburgh kicker. And then I spoke on Joe already. Let's move on to Dave. JaMychal Hasty, $14. Looking for some running back depth there. I understand, Dave, and that one makes sense to me. And then Xavier made two $0 bids. Shout him out. Jake Elliott, kicker for the Philadelphia Eagles, and Malcolm Brown, Los Angeles running back. It's kind of a running back committee in LA, but we know Darrell Henderson is doing pretty well, and then Cam Akers is going to eventually come back and I think eventually win that role, but we'll have to see. And I don't blame Xavier for taking risk. Can we really even call it risk if it's $0? I don't think we can. But that will wrap up the Waiver Wired segment. Let's go ahead and get on to the predictions. I told you guys this would be a quick episode. I'm going to save the game of the week for last. Let's try to flip it up here. So this week, Chris Piani is 3-3 on the year, right? And he's playing Nathaniel Schwartz, who's also 3-3 on the year. The only problem with this game is Chris Piani has the bye week from hell. I'm talking like 5 players not playing. I can't even put a prediction for his score up here because it's so low because he doesn't have people in there. With that being said, I'm going to bet against you here, Piani, and I'm gonna roll with Nate because bye weeks suck and it's hard, and I think you anticipate this as an L for the year. So let's just get it over with. Let's get Nate to move into 4-3, moving up in the power rankings. Next game is Danny, who's also 3-3, playing Ryan Downs at 4-2. This is a playoff pedigree game. That's what I call it. 2 guys who have been there before, but 1 guy who has succeeded in achieving 2 back-to-back championships in 2014, 2015. I'm going to roll with Danny here. He's projected highly. We got at least 15 points here in favor of Danny, and I think it's going to reflect in the matchup. I'm going to roll with Danny. Moving on to my matchup, not favored to win at 3-3 against Dave, who's also 3-3. I'm unfavored by 2 points with my quarterback pickup. Hopefully, I'm currently at 90 something, but with the quarterback, I think we'll get there. I'm going to call this the first trade of the season game. I think these players are going to come back to show the colors. All players in the party are available to play. I'm thinking about holding James White back at the moment, but we'll mull that over and decide on game day. But Dave, like I said earlier in the episode, I'm not going to bet against myself. I got to respect myself. So we're going to take me. I think it's going to be a close one here, and I need this win. And so do you. I mean, at 3-3, it's tough. You don't want to fall too low. I think 6 L's is like, I don't know how. I don't feel confident about getting that bye, and you want that bye. But let's move forward here, knocking these out. Xavier at 0-6. I'll keep saying it, man. It's brutal. Is not favored to win against the champ, who's 3-3. I'm gonna go with a little luck here. I'm gonna bet against the champ, which is a terrible idea because he's not favored to win. I'm gonna call this the first win game. Let's go, Xavier. 1-6 on the year. Let's get this W, baby. I'm rolling with you. Moving forward, Mikey at 2-4, getting some momentum. He's starting to look strong, right? We're looking at his team. Is favored to beat Matt, also at 2-4. I'm gonna call this the loser goes home game. I think the winner of this game projects himself or propels himself to potentially gain a playoff berth, or at least they're on the road to it. The loser 2-5. I don't see it, man. I don't think these teams have enough depth and star power. Maybe Mikey's does in a sense. It depends on these tight ends do. To win a championship. So I'm gonna call this loser goes home game. It's week 7. I think it's early enough to get it in there. And I'm gonna roll Mikey. So Matt, I shouted you out earlier, man, but you got to start stacking wins before it's too late, and I don't think this is one of them. So let's move forward. My co-host, Mike, 2-4, unfavored, highly unfavored against the 4-2 Jesse Dowd. This is the best men game. These two guys performed admirably at the wedding, which I guess I could have gotten into a little bit, boys. I did get married last Sunday, not last Sunday. It was like 2 Sundays ago. I was on a honeymoon. Excuse me. Beautiful, beautiful, and these two guys really killed it on their speeches. I was very impressed. Maybe we'll show a little video or something once we get it back. But love these two guys to death. They're amazing. But let's be real. Mike, you don't have the depth this week. I don't see it, man. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't see it. We're rolling with Jesse Dowd. He's projected 119 points. I think he's gonna beat that number in a big way. So, last but not least here, certainly not least, because it's game of the week. We got two guys who are 5-1 playing each other this week. Devin is projected to lose this game. Can you believe that? To Ryan Hannigan. I don't see it, Hannigan. I'm going to keep betting against you until it works. Just kidding. Just kidding, man. I think it's about time I come around on Ryan Hannigan. His team is legitimate. He has stars, and DeAndre Swift is looking like a real threat in the NFL. I think he's come a long way since that Week 1 drop.
Open that door right now. Open it right now. Right now. Elena.
And that's the house. This is life.
Hurry up. Elena. Open it. Hurry up.
We're gonna leave this in. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Ryan Hannigan, 5-1, right? Ryan Hannigan's team is coming together pretty strong. And I'll be real, boys. I need to win here. I need to win so bad against Devin that it's going to help my division standings. So I'm going to take him here. I'm going to take him loud and proud here, Ryan Hannigan, and show up for me, man. Let's go to 6-1. Let's go to 6-1, baby. But overall, that'll wrap up here for Week 7. Sorry about the discipline that was going on in the house. I guess somebody got in trouble. I'm gonna go figure that out, and I believe I have some dinner waiting for me downstairs. So shout out to everybody. Week 7. I am hosting our. I don't mind hosting. I'll be watching this on Sunday. I'll be watching the game. So if anybody wants to come through, we'll figure out food, whatever, drinks. I have some Modelo's in the fridge. Gladly host for you guys. Let's watch some football. That's all I care about. It's week 7. Shout out and bear down, of course, baby. Love you guys. Thanks so much.